She could always make something wonderful out of nothing.
Whenever she greeted me, she'd grab my face and give me an Eskimo kiss. And I just found out this week that she did that to everybody.
You know, she was a very, very generous person. No matter who you were, she would treat you like family.
So dedicated to everybody but herself. Charming, warm, funny.
Well, she was always very sort of a calming influence.
I mean, that was the way my mother was. She was the rock of the family.
Probably the first thing I think of is that she always thought of other people before she thought of herself.
My mother, when she was very young, remember we lived in Germany.
She was an invested German citizen before Nazism came in.
A country goes to war, everybody wants to help. And they sent her to Russia.
She was a nurse in World War I.
17 or 18 years old, didn't know a thing about nursing. The very first day she had night duty. She didn't know anything, just if somebody yelled, you know, there was somebody there.
And after the war, she spent probably about a year in a children's hospital in Berlin.
She went to nursing school and became a nurse.
The reality of what happened caused her to have to move from there, even though, I mean, it is just, I can hardly even talk about it because it's so appalling.
Hitler. And we're Jewish. It became very dangerous for Jewish people.
She must have seen some horrible things.
She was a really strong woman who overcame major adversities in her life.
This was 1937, and being Jewish, we were not allowed to go to public swimming places. We were not allowed to go to public stores.
And you scoop your family up and you take everything you own and you move to a new country.
I mean, think about that. I think she was 47 when she emigrated. Just forge on, create your own reality. Good lesson for all of us to learn.
Her interest eventually in establishing a Girl Scout troop at Shriners Hospital probably had its start in her hospital experience in Germany.
She had a very scary basement, but her house was very fun.
The Girl Scout cookies stacked in the basement of her house in Laurelhurst.
I don't remember cookies. There was a giant heater with like octopus arms, and it was huge, and you would have to get past that to get to the dollhouse.
That stuff was off limits. That's the Girl Scout stuff.
It was very, very scary. It was like a cellar, I guess. Maybe there were cookies down there. I don't remember.
Always have them in her car, always bring them to work.
Once a year, she would, and this I think is the thing that I love most of all.
Talking about the cookout. The cookout was her big deal.
Barbecues from all her friends and put them up in the parking lot of the Shriners Hospital.
Her whole life probably was really focused on others.
She would have the staff roll out the beds with the kids in them into the parking lot.
Very generous and thoughtful.
And they would be able to make hot dogs, hamburgers, and of course s'mores.
You know, go to Providence Hospital today or Shriners Hospital and you drag everybody out in the front. It's like, that was amazing. And it meant so much to those kids.
She also focused a lot on helping the girls think about other people. All the focus was on them, on their treatment, on their life. And she helped the girls focus on doing things for other people.
You know, her real passion for scouting and real passion for the Shriners Hospital.
My grandfather had the largest shirt company in Germany. They came to Portland, Oregon and bought Rosenfeld Hat Company and changed the name to Columbia Hat Company.
And my grandfather would travel on the road selling hats and caps, and my grandmother would work in the warehouse and fill orders, and then I'd sort of tag along and help her put hats into boxes.
And then started making fishing vests and then changed the name to Columbia Sportswear.
I mean, she definitely had an 8 to 5 job.
She'd be downstairs visiting the seamstresses in the morning and visiting the guys in the warehouse in the afternoon. And
It's just amazing, you know, every penny that was spent was recorded.
She had a great sense of the business, really, in terms of what needed to be accomplished.
My father traveled, would sometimes be gone 6 weeks at a time, and my mom ran the business.
Well, my father couldn't do it. He couldn't even boil water. I know she went 1 year to a Girl Scout convention in Boston. My father moved into a motel. I think it's absolutely incredible, the fact that you're honoring my mother.
She was a pretty quiet person in terms of, you know, getting the accolades.
Self-effacing, she didn't really like to get recognized.
She wouldn't say, "I'm not worthy." She would say, "Oh God," which was her expression always when she didn't know what to say.
And she used to say, "Oh God." So she probably would have said that first.
Oh, she'd say, "Oh, goodness, not me. I don't need to deserve that, probably."
She was very modest. I don't think that she wanted to be in the spotlight. I think she worked incredibly hard and gave back completely unconditionally.
You think it's everybody does that. So maybe she'd be surprised, but we'd all convince her that she was the best, so.
And it's too bad she's not here to accept it.
I think it's important to recognize her and other women because I think these women have to work incredibly hard to break down barriers for other women.
As you're driving down Barber Boulevard and you see that flag waving, hopefully when people drive past that and notice it, it's like, oh, what is this? And it's just exposure to someone in the past who did a lot for Girl Scouts. And if you happen to walk past it and you are able to look down at the monument and like, oh, who was Marie Lamfrom? So just trying to keep that memory alive.
The way she lived and the way she cared for other people.
Her focus was really pretty much on her family, on the business, and on the Girl Scouts. That was pretty much it.
If you wanted to live in a terrific place, it was pretty much your job to be volunteering and helping and doing things that created that.
And I think she's had a great effect on my life.